Hello everybody, this is DID Hatchery and I wanted to say happy 4th of July. This is a little different from our typical 4th of Julys, but I might talk about that at the end of the video. I wanted to talk about our last video briefly because next week, hopefully next week, I will be filming a reaction video to our last video with my psychologist. So you'll be able to get his perspective on it. And the comments in that video are just some of the most beautiful things I've ever read. And because they were so beautiful, I got really stressed about responding to them. The beauty, I got stressed and I felt the need that my responses had to be equal to these beautiful comments. And so if you've noticed, I haven't responded to a lot of the comments because that's what happens in my brain, but I will. It'll just, I mean, you might see a comment show up 6 months from now, me trying to get these comments responded to because each and every one of them deserves absolute all of me because they are just, thank you. They are just so wonderful and it really helped us. Because what I wanted to say about that particular video, that video was made by a different alter, a different part of me. I did not remember making it. I did not remember posting it. I actually had to talk to my team after I posted it because I asked people, should I take it down? I don't know, I'm scared. And they all just confidently said, no, leave this up. People who have this disorder need to see it. And so I was like, okay. And so next week, yes, we're doing the thing with the psychologist. And so I just wanted to explain a little something. That video, it turns out, was the first day of a 7-day flashback that I ended up having. My longest flashback to date that I can recall, because, you know, with DID, it's a dissociative disorder. So for decades, I didn't realize I had flashbacks. I was having them, but I wasn't the one having them, that part of me that was having them. And so the longest flashback I had ever experienced, emotional flashback, was about 48 hours, something like that, I think. Well, this flashback lasted 7 days. It was an emotional flashback. I would go in and out of the darker parts of it. When I wasn't in the darkest parts of it, I still felt like an open wound, like I had no skin. Like I could easily be triggered at any second into anything. I had to be very careful. People had to be very careful around me because I could just, you know, because those hormones are there and all of that's there. And so that was a 7-day flashback. That flashback, I think, led to a breakthrough in my healing. I think I've moved on to a different phase of DID. I think I'm, as I said, this is not scientific. This is just, I'm just describing what I'm experiencing. I don't know if this is documented in a book. I'm documenting it here so this piece of information can be in the world regarding DID, okay? I've had about 3 phases of DID now. The first phase was the first 42 years of my life in which I did not know I had DID. I was in survival mode. I had no knowledge. Despite 17 of those 42 years, doctors trying to tell me, I still did not believe it and would not believe it. So then at 42, that's when I started to believe it because it just became too obvious. And so from 42 to now, and I'm 46, so about these 4 years, I've been a sort of in the meeting different parts of me, you know? And I haven't even met nearly all of them. I've met a portion of them. It's just meeting them and like, oh, that exists in me. Oh, that's a part of me, you know? But I never really experienced their feelings or their, I could be co-conscious and feel kind of what they're feeling and experience how their mind works. But it was always still like, that's their feeling, not my feeling situation. Well, I feel like I've moved on to a third phase in which I'm starting to feel feelings, okay? I think I think I've started integrating. And integration is not what I thought it was. It's not what I've seen often described on YouTube. For instance, I feel like I may have had integrations of parts of me that I don't even know. From what I've seen on YouTube, and you know, it's as if you have to meet the alters, then you get to know the alters, and then you get really friendly, and then the amnesic barriers go away between you, and then you're like one. That's what I thought happened. But I think there are parts of me that might, like maybe fragments or smaller parts of me that I've never met that might be integrating. Because one day I felt stronger, okay? I don't know how to explain that to somebody who doesn't experience it. When you have, in my experience with DID, it makes me feel exceptionally hollow and empty. I feel like an outline of myself. I've always felt like I'm a vortex of emptiness. And I felt like I've had to just work my life that way. And I think there's a lot of emptiness in DID because each part is just a fragment of a personality. And if that part is out alone, it has this vast sea of emptiness that it's missing. And so that's why, in my opinion, DID can feel very empty. And so I mean, this feeling went away and it comes back occasionally. So maybe an alter I'm not aware of integrated with another part and became a little stronger. So maybe that's the case. I'm not sure. Everything is very up to interpretation with DID. And so one day I felt more full, like I was less empty. And I was like, is this what it feels like to be a person? Do they feel like solid? Do they feel like a brick wall, like solid? Because it was not something I'd ever experienced, was any sense of solidness. And so, you know, that feeling lasted for a few hours, but went away. And then I started to think maybe it's an alter, and maybe an alter integrated with another part and they became more solid. And when they come out, I feel more solid. And I think maybe that happened. But I can tell you I have no idea who, how, or what. It's just a sensation I get. So I do think I'm in the phase of slowly integrating things, because integration is not just about alters. You integrate experiences, you integrate emotions. Like I said, I would say a story, I can't tell you who it's about, but about a few months back, okay, I was on the phone with a very important person in my life, somebody who had done not good things to us. And my whole life, I had never felt much about what they say or do. When I was around them, I just didn't feel, I felt like I loved them and I wanted their approval. Those are like the only feelings I ever had towards this person, ever. I could not be mad at them. Literally had no capacity. So a few months back, I was on the phone with this person and they said something. And I got a feeling like a shot. Like I was like, what's that feeling? I didn't say anything, but the feeling wouldn't go away and the feeling grew. And I was confused. I was like, I don't understand why I'm feeling this feeling. And that was, I think, the first integration of emotion from another part of me that I had never felt before. Because that feeling is still with me. And I feel justified in feeling that feeling now, but it took me months to kind of like, what is this? What is happening? Why? I had better stop feeling this way. This doesn't make sense. And that was my first hint that I started integrating certain feelings and experiences and emotions into my psyche. And so like, just, okay, if you're a person who is not fragmented, this is what it would be like for you to integrate a feeling, okay, through amnesia. Let's say your whole life, you never felt anything about birds. I mean, yeah, you knew birds were there, birds exist, birds, but you just, they just, whatever, they fly past you, you don't care, it's a bird. And that's your whole life. Then one day you're walking down the street and you see a bird and you're like, that fucking bird. What is that bird doing there? I don't like that bird. Why is that bird in my neighborhood? And you start having all these irrational, or seeming to you irrational feelings, but maybe they're not irrational. Maybe you had experience with the birds that you blocked out. And so you could start to, this bird, you're like, I don't know why this bird is bothering me, but this bird is bothering me. And that's kind of what it's like to integrate a feeling that you've never had before. You're just like, I don't know why I feel this way, but I swear this bird is wrong, you know? And so, yeah, so I think I've moved on from like just kind of meeting other parts of me to having integrations of sorts. I'm not saying alters entirely have integrated because I have no idea. Like this thing happens under the radar for me. I do feel a little different sometimes.
I wanted to say hi too, because I did not get to say hi for a long time. I'm Jazzy and I like saying hi to people.
Sorry about that. I know that was Jazzy. I just know it was her. I don't know exactly what she said, but I know when she's out, and I know it's her. So I guess I'll have to rewatch this video before I post it. I don't know why that trigger occurred. I don't feel particularly triggered, but there are triggers you can have and be totally not conscious of. Now it's, what was I? Anyway, I was talking about integration. I mean, I think Jazzy is an example of like being aware of her at all times is a form of integration, I think, you know. There was a point in my life when I wasn't aware of her at all, you know. And by her, I mean a part of me, you know. Alters are not separate people. They are parts of your own psyche that have been separated from each other through amnesia, which was caused by trauma. They are not people. And so I just want to make that clear because there seems to be rumors going around on the internet that they're freaking people. They're not people. Anyway, so I hope you guys are okay and you guys have like a really good time. This is James. Hi, it's been a while. We were kind of like, we're gonna start making clay, guys. We're gonna start making clay. You'll see, it's gonna be cool. We have like these weird ideas, like little kawaii figures of like dark things, like the movie Heathers from the 80s, like the scene where the girl's like gonna fall through the glass thing, make a little kawaii recreation of that scene. Come on, that's cool. That's cool. Anyway, you guys have a good day. Bye.